And thank you for joining us for today's panel. This is our ACW DEI&B committee year in review. I'm Jen Redmond, and I'll be moderating this discussion alongside my fellow committee members, Amber, Celeste, and Marcella. Over the past year, we've really had an incredible opportunity to explore and elevate diverse voices and experiences through our DEI&B initiatives. And we're really excited to reflect on those efforts today. This year, we tackled some important topics. In February, we spotlighted our HBCUs for Black History Month and introduced the year's initiatives throughout our newsletter. In May, Marcella led a meaningful conversation on invisible disabilities through a really powerful video interview. June brought us a focus of Pride Month and pronouns, and we really honored Juneteenth in our newsletter, as well as the Channel Futures blog. We highlighted some significant observations there. In July and August, we continued our conversation with Inclusivity on a blog building an all-inclusive work environment, and that was through Amber's insightful piece on work-life balance. September was Hispanic Heritage Month, with Celeste sharing her inspiring journey in channel sales and tips for success within the industry. And just this past October, we really emphasized her health. We really shined a light on our women's wellness in tech and really beyond. I think this work represents our shared belief that inclusivity is not a single moment, but a movement. It's a commitment to continuously learn and adapt and grow as individuals and as an organization. Over the last year, we've seen some encouraging progress. We've fostered a lot of open dialogue, building empathy, creating spaces where everyone can bring their authentic selves, both to work and to our ACW team. However, as always in this work, it's far from done. We are going to look ahead to 2025. We want to share what changes we've noticed, the impact of these initiatives, what we believe we need to elevate in the coming year to drive meaningful change. I'd really like to turn it over to Marcella now. She's going to help us dive into some of our topics from this year and really reflect further upon them. So Marcella, if I could turn it over to you.
Thanks so much, Jen. That was a really nice overview. And we've had quite the year, haven't we?
Yes.
Can't wait to do it again. So just to pinpoint some of the hot topics that you mentioned, I think I want to start with Celeste, if I can. Celeste, you had a really, really great, as a fellow Latina, you had a really great Hispanic Heritage Month piece that you did about how to succeed in the channel sales as a Hispanic woman. And so what kind of feedback have you received? Have you heard from people who read your article?
Yeah, well, thank you so much. Yeah, it was an honor to be able to write that article and highlight what so many women live in our community, right? I did have a huge outreach from a lot of Hispanic women who have very similar stories. And for whatever reasons, whether they're quiet or they didn't feel shared about it and really felt celebrated in that moment. So that was great. And beyond that, I had other people who came to us, men, women of all different walks of life, who came and appreciated that we were really highlighting differences that we have when we all try to make it in this industry together. The channel is diverse with many different opportunities. And honestly, we're all kind of different, hitting on all the topics that we've hit in the committee this year, and really accepting that and putting that out, saying we have work to do. We have differences, we have lives. We should all be celebrated, but this is how we can be successful. And so I got such a great outpouring. It lifted me up. I was happy to do it for this committee, and I'm looking forward to all the things that we're going to do next year.
That's wonderful. Also, in the name of work-life balance and diversity, Amber, you'd probably one of our most popular pieces you wrote about embracing inclusion for a healthier work-life dynamic. That was our piece in the month of August. So have you had people reach out to you or seen any changes since you expressed your views there?
Absolutely. So thank you so much. But yes, I would love the opportunity to write this piece. This was very important to me, near and dear to me, because I feel like work-life balance is so crucial to our mental health and the health of our families. as well as our work environment. So I did have a lot of people reach out to me and express their appreciation for the balance that they are able to achieve. A lot of organizations, I'm sure that you are also aware of, companies are empowering their people to work as needed. So, regardless of the environment you're in or the kind of support that you need, companies are really pushing to offer that support to their employees to create that balance, to create that positive attitude to promote a better environment in your workspace and also in your personal life. So I have seen a lot of positive feedback, and I've seen a lot of initiatives on our end as well with ScanSource that allows us to maintain that work-life balance that is so important to your well-being.
I agree wholeheartedly. I love it when people have in their email signatures, like, my work hours are not your work hours. Don't feel like you need to respond. It's always like, okay, the urgency is removed a little bit. So I agree. I like it when companies embrace that as well. So speaking of embrace, Jen, you also had a wonderful year. You taught us about pronouns, and you led a wonderful panel in the month of June for Pride Month. So can you tell us a little bit about how that panel has resonated with people?
Yeah, it's funny. It resonated with me quite a lot in researching and to ask questions, but also just learning about the different company policies and what they look like. And one of just the small acts that I did after learning that there was research from the Williams Institute that showed 30% of LGBTQIA plus employees remain closeted, typically due to fear. And so just normalizing things like me as a member of that community, not having my own pronouns in my signature, I've changed that. It's now in there, and I've seen it adopted quite a lot throughout my company, just through, oh, we can do this. But I've also had people come to me specifically and say it. Because using someone's pronouns is just a small act of respect. It can make an enormous difference in how people feel each day. And I think there's a lot of education still that I needed, that I learned through that, as well as understanding different perspectives and how people come to the table. I think when an employee feels seen and valued, they're a lot more engaged, they're more productive, they're more likely to stay. That's backed by data. So just being able to have a lot of that information at my fingertips through doing that panel just helped me. It helped me within our company. And I'm really grateful for the opportunity to have those conversations and the opportunity to always continue evolving or having an evolution within my own environment and education, as well as within my company and outside of that with each of you ladies each day. Marcellus, we had kind of a lot of talking also earlier in the year about those of us, and I think about this with the LGBTQIA plus community, and then those with invisible disabilities. And I loved your video on that, and I would love for you to give us a little bit more information about how that impacted you and what that was like.
Yeah, in the name of bringing your true authentic self to work and not taking for granted what you see is what you get. This year, and my piece, which I'm glad fell in the beginning of the year, because I was able to really think about it throughout the year. AI took leaps and bounds this year, and what a huge help. I never would have considered how AI can support someone who suffers from an invisible disability, really like connect with their coworkers, connect with, even just these video interviews, these video, chats that we do. We are all in the industry. We don't really think about it, but the way the AI and subtitles and transcription and all of the newest, greatest things coming to UCAS, how that can really benefit people who do have invisible disabilities and wouldn't know it. We don't put that in our email signature. So it's really interesting. And it's been really great to meet people that way and spread it, on LinkedIn posts and through the newsletter and talking to other people from ACW. So yeah, it's been a really interesting year.
Agree.
Yeah.
I would just like to thank all of you for sharing your insights, thoughts, reflections. I want to thank everyone who's put the time in today to watch this video and also any of our content throughout the year and taken steps towards fostering inclusivity, breaking down barriers, amplifying and diversifying our voices. But also, we've discussed the journey, just it doesn't end here. We're looking ahead to 2025. And I'd love to go around as kind of a final note from each of you and say, what are you looking the most forward to diving into in 2025? And I'm putting you on the spot. So if you don't have one ready, that's okay. But I'm really excited about how we come together over the next year as well to ensure that everyone feels seen, heard, empowered to thrive. So I'll start with you, Celeste.
Yeah. So honestly, mine is, I guess, twofold. What I'd really like to see happen in 2025. I think what happened between all of us this year was beautiful. A lot of topics. When you think that you're quote unquote woke and you understand everything that's happening and stuff, but like you said, invisible, disabilities or anything that we talked about, how the pronouns were respectable or is work-life balance okay? Like all those things I took in and I listened to them deeply, but what it really brought a calling to me is I want our circle to grow, right? And whether that means with philanthropic efforts of bringing in people who maybe haven't been in this industry or don't have the opportunity and really bringing them in and using some of our stories and our content to show them that they are qualified or they are enough. And I would love to see that outreach. And even if they're already in our industry and maybe they feel a type of way about being part of a community because they think, oh, it's small or they're going to be closed-minded. We are not closed-minded. We want all the topics. We want to celebrate. Yes, we focus on women and our health, but we also want to focus on everyone and bringing them in, men, women, disabilities, all that stuff. So I would really like to put some of our efforts towards that during 2025.
Agree. What about you, Amber?
So for me in 2025, I would love to see tolerance elevated, cultivating like a higher level of self-awareness, empathy, and adaptability for everything that's changing in our environment would be a wonderful thing for us to focus on in 2025. And I just want to share one of my favorite quotes from Michelle Obama with you guys. So her quote was, "I'm still in progress and I hope I always am." And for me, that holds so true because we are all works of progress, right? We are all changing and evolving. And I'm hoping that in 2025, we can change and evolve for the better, to be more tolerant, to be more inclusive, to be more proactive in each one of our industries.
Well said. Thank you. Marcella, last thoughts to you?
I love that quote. I'm going
to
write that one down. I would really like to take some of these conversations that we've had out into the real world. I feel like I spend so much of my time reading or on the computer or on video calls, and I know they're great, but I would love to get to know you ladies better, get to know more ACW ladies better, bring in some more allies, like you mentioned, Celeste, and then also just have these really important conversations in person and do more advocacy and get out there more. So, yeah.
I couldn't agree more with all three of you, and I would like to keep this momentum going and encourage everyone watching this, everyone within the ACW community to share your ideas, your stories, your voices as we shape this next chapter of our DEI&B journey. Thank you everyone for being a part of this panel today. Thanks for everyone on this committee for their important work. Honorable mention to Stacy Corbett, who could not be here with us today, and our fearless committee leader. Thank you all for making a difference in my life every day, but in the lives of everyone that we touch through this important work. And I really appreciate each of you. Thank you so much.
I appreciate you all. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.